And we are live. Hello, welcome. Today we are going to talk about the Nostalgia Critic. My name is Jason, and I am joined by.
Uh, Avi. I don't know what to say.
Your name, that's what you say.
Yeah,
Avi. That's my name. AVI.
people know who you are, I guess.
People know who I am. I'm just that famous.
He's the guy who likes to talk about animated films.
Yes, yeah, that's the only thing I like to talk about.
He's the animated film guru.
I'm the animated film guru.
All right,
Yes, home stunk.
all right. So we're going to talk about Nostalgia Critic. And I'm gonna ask the question of why do we like the Nostalgia Critic? And I will let Avi go first.
Why do I like the nostalgia? You're assuming that well, I like him, but you're assuming that we both do. That's a toughie. Like while most people say he's not as funny as he used to be, I still think he gets enough good episodes out. I'm trying to think, like, without, like, going, like, crazy, like, oh, everything he does is genius. Like, um, that's really tough. Why do I'll let Colton go first, because I can't think of something.
Alright.
Okay, then, hi, I'm Colton. So, anyway, why do I like him? Well, to quote one of his own reviews, when he's not being annoying, his comedic genius is pretty good. It's like, I'm not sure why I like him, just like, I think he sort of perfected the idea of the screaming, angry critic before he went off the deep end with his revival, so to speak, but it was like he was able to yell about his opinions, but he was able to make it so that you didn't feel annoyed watching him, you actually laughed with his opinions and whatnot, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I like him because like he's able to show like movies that we think, oh, they're like really great movies and stuff. He's like, yeah, but you may like this movies, but you have to admit there are a lot of problems with A, B, and C, and you're going like, yeah, but it's still fun.
Yeah, what you two said, pretty much. I agree. Seriously, like, I love him, but I can't think of why.
Yeah, like with Total Recall, he's like the one I think of when I'm talking about seeing like the Total Recall review. He's like, it's a fun movie, but it has some problems, and I'm going like, yeah, that's true.
Well, he even does that for, like, when he did, like, good reviews, like when he reviewed the first Jurassic Park.
Yeah, which also I kind of agree with you on that one too.
Yeah, that review was alright, and I agree with them that there were some issues like what was the point of revealing that life found a way with the dinosaur eggs being hatched and whatnot? It's like it doesn't really amount to anything and whatnot. But I mean, it's one of those movies where the execution is done well enough that you won't really care about those sort of plot inconsistencies or what have you. And as for the review itself, well, it gave us the motherfucking T-Rex song. Pardon my language.
He also gave us the Bat credit card.
No, that wasn't Jurassic Park, that was
Credit
Batman and
card.
Robin.
They gave him
That was
a
Batman and
bad
Robin.
credit card. They had the balls to give one of the greatest superheroes of all time a bad credit card. No, that's not compute. That's not compute. Okay.
Yeah,
You went, like, all out there.
yeah. And I love how he even does that now at conventions.
Yeah, I know.
All-
If his voice isn't sore, I've
Always,
watched videos.
there's always someone at one of his talks that has to bring up the back credit card.
It's like, oh, this is the last question of the day. Okay, also back credit card.
Yeah, it's like I want to talk about this, and oh yeah, I have a back credit card.
And then half the time he's like, oh, I'm sorry, man, but my voice is really sore. Like, he only does it at, like, 20% of the conventions, I'm pretty sure, from the videos I've seen. It's like someone's like, back credit card, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, man, my voice is really sore today.
I'm guessing that he's probably telling the truth because he probably done it like because he
Yeah,
probably
he does it, like, at every convention.
yeah.
I have to
Like,
admit, I've kind of forgotten about the rest of the Batman and Robin review, with only the Bat credit card part sticking with my
It's
mind.
not. The funny
well,
thing is watching that review back. It's not even my favorite joke of the review. My favorite joke is that he like leaves the review and then gets like a life-size like Nostalgia Critic puppet to do the review for like a
I
minute. It's like
remember
this
that. I
movie
remember that
stinks.
in the Batman Robin one. I
And
remember
also,
that like there was a part where he puts up all this like this ice skating fight is like the '66 show, and it shows like the wham and bam when they're hitting people with the ice pucks.
yeah, I remember that.
And he doesn't even say. He says Batman. He says the Bat credit card's one of his favorite jokes, but he says the Batman and Robin review itself is only okay because that's all anyone ever remembers of it, and the rest of the jokes are only okay.
Well, I remember the wham bam part and the back credit card.
I think the only
Part.
other
Oh
part
yeah,
I
everyone
remember,
remembers the
I think
Bat
the
credit
only
card.
other part I remember is when he snapped at Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy for saying curses, and that's about it.
Yeah, like I remember that part because he's like, wait, curses? Although that movie itself is just weird on itself, but anyways.
Uma Thurman's
And
lucky
he
she
doesn't
had Quentin
even, and he says
Tarantino.
Batman and Robin isn't even that bad. It's just more like enjoyably fun, enjoyably
And
bad.
it's like a guilty pleasure, I guess, for some
It's like, yeah,
people.
that's a
He
good
loves Arnold
design, so I
Schwarzenegger.
can let that go more or less. I think people will
He
probably.
likes
I
Arnold
think Batman and Robin
Schwarzenegger.
probably gets a lot of hate because it's the movie that killed the Batman and Robin franchise for years.
Although one of my recent reviews of his that I really liked was this one for Sharknado.
I didn't watch the Sharknado
Well,
one
everyone loves
because
the
I hadn't
MythBusters
seen the
thing.
movie.
The MythBusters.
Yeah.
I find
So,
it weird
like,
that
A
you
lot of
reviewed Sharknado to
a
begin
lot
with.
of our
It's like,
fans are
why would he
wondering if you.
review it? I mean, some of his
I
reviews.
don't know. It sounds like a really crazy idea. We're going to have a tornado made of sharks tear up this town. So I
Wait,
guess.
Colton, what were you gonna say?
I was saying I find it weird that he reviewed Sharknado. I mean, I know he doesn't have cutoff dates anymore, but some of his modern reviews at least have some sort of significance to them. But when he reviewed Sharknado, it just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
he even said in a previous thing, like on Nostalgia Critics, he'd never do, even though he ended up doing Care Bears Nutcracker. He said like he's not going to review Killer Clowns and Attack of the Killer Tomatoes or whatever it's called, because they're supposed to be bad. But and then someone's like, then why did you review Sharknado? Someone commented on that video, why did you review Sharknado then?
he's busted.
Yeah, he's myth-busted.
And he should review Birdemic then. I mean, I know Birdemic is like too easy to make fun of, but still.
At the
What?
most recent convention, someone videoed and he said like he said there's a Birdemic 2. The person that asked him, he's like, I didn't review the first Birdemic because it's supposed to like I forgot what he said, something about like it pretty much like does try to be bad.
So one of the ex members of his site, like Bayless, reviewed Birdemic, and that was a pretty funny
Yeah.
review. Then he reviewed
Yeah.
Birdemic 2, and that review was a step down in quality.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watch any of the other people on his site.
I watch Cinema Snob, but only his midnight screening stuff. Then I
I like
watch
some
Tom
of
the
his
Shadow.
stuff. Like, I really liked
I
his
like
review.
Tom the
I like
Shadow.
some of his review of the Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Caddyshack 2. That's like the only actual Cinema Snob review I've seen. Since
I
it
saw
isn't
the
a
one
porno.
about he talked about when he saw Walter Mitty in theaters.
I actually watched his one for what's it called, The Last House on the Left, and I like how he opened up the review saying, "Not so fun when I review something like, is it?"
Yeah.
In hindsight, that movie actually looks kind of silly, really. But
Yeah.
I mean, even with it was brutal, but he also was very critical of how there was a lot of unnecessary comedy relief spliced into it, which is kind of odd when you think about it.
Yeah.
What's it called? Do you want to talk about favorite Nostalgia Critic reviews?
Or moments.
I mean,
What's
moments would take
yours?
forever for me to pick out. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'd have
Well,
to
one of
pick.
my favorite moments, then, I guess I'll start, is his review of, man, what's it called? Oh, yeah, Pearl Harbor. I really enjoyed that review. Mainly because, well, for one, the recurring jokes is, how close are those planes again? Because it's funny how you usually see him, I don't know, being critical of movies having too much action, yet he's demanding that the action finally happen. And then I also liked how he was pretty fair to Michael Bay in that review. which is like something you don't really see on the internet.
Yeah, because he said. Oh, wait, what were you gonna say? I'll say after.
I said I liked how he was spared of Michael Bay in the review because that's something you don't really see often on the internet.
Yeah, he
What,
said in
someone
his
actually
most.
be nice to Michael Bay?
Oh,
What did you say, Jason? Jason,
Yeah.
what did you say?
No, I said you mean you don't really see no one on the internet being actually nice to Michael Bay?
yeah.
Pretty much.
But no, he said in his most recent convention that he wants to portray Michael Bay as no one would see, like the exact opposite. He's just like, I really want to make like a romance film or something.
Right.
Or he's like, I want to make like some whatever, something you wouldn't see him want to make. But something from a recent review, like the TMNT one, the Michael Bay one, where he's just doing they're in like the I forgot which one it's from, but the Vanilla Ice parody, and he's like this freestyle rap isn't like real. I didn't rehearse it. Now done with the first. Wait, no, now done with the. I forgot how it goes, but he just does like this totally like non-freestyled rap, and he's like, whatever. And
I like
this isn't
the part where they make fun of the Out of the Shell tour.
no, the
Yeah.
Vanilla Ice like non-freestyle rap.
Yeah, like
But
there's a
maybe.
part where they're like, to find the spirit of the turtles, you must create a band.
Yeah, you must make
So,
little
like, yeah,
plastic
basically
figures
they're
of
making
yourself.
fun of Out of their shells.
Then it's like, okay, we admit it. The Ninja Turtles were made to sell toys.
Yeah, basically.
Isn't that how that?
What's it called? I'm gonna say what everyone does. I love the commercial specials.
Me too. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I saw like the
The
first
best
three.
is yeah. The best is they're talking about they brought it up when they were doing their real thoughts on Space Jam because either Doug or his brother was like how could like he was talking about like the Nike commercials or whatever, or the Space Jam Bugs Bunny commercials, and it's like, how can you talk about a commercial and then he paused and it's like, oh yeah, we did make 5 videos of those.
I thought there were 4.
No, they did the 3 early ones, and then they did one with Rachel and one with Tamara.
Oh, okay.
They did
I
like
miss
the
Rachel.
Dawn, and they did the Rise of the commercials. They did like Revenge, Return, and the first ones.
I know I also really liked the review he did for Inspector Gadget.
Yeah. Poor Matthew Broderick.
Like the first he hasn't even said anything, and already I hate him.
I really miss. I mean, I really enjoyed Inspector Gadget as a kid, but looking back on it, yeah, not that great. It was kind of odd, actually.
Yeah.
Well,
I
what
have
was the first review of his you saw? The first review of the Nostalgia Critic.
I think it might have been Cartoon All Stars. I can't remember.
Well, I
Funny
was
enough-
introduced. Oh,
Funny
you gonna
enough
say, Jason?
was the Inspector Gadget movie actually introduced me to Inspector Gadget, and I was so excited that year that I bought an Inspector Gadget hat from the Disney store.
But,
Okay, so my brother, about 4 years ago, my older brother, introduced me to Todd in the Shadows because he saw one video. And I don't think he even watches the site anymore, but so I was looking at other stuff. And the first review of, I was scrolling through the Nostalgia Critic episodes. This was before he retired the first time. It was like 4 years ago. But I was looking, and I saw Full House. I was like, oh, no one could talk bad about Full House. And then I immediately hated him. Like, no, Full House is the greatest show ever. And then I realized that it's a stupid show.
Oh, like,
I remember why I liked Full House. It was
Yeah, I
nothing
don't know.
special.
it's a
It
little,
seems Doug Walker has an extreme hatred with Full House.
well, it's a little cheesy.
Like, I never laughed once at a joke. I never got it. Well, that was just the Nostalgia Critic. I don't know what he actually thinks, but
I know. What's his name? The black black nerd. Andre likes him.
Andre.
Likes Full House.
Yeah. Well, he likes any nostalgia. Have you ever watched a Black Nerd comedy, Colton?
I only seen him once, and that was when he guest starred in an episode of the Nostalgia Chicks when she was talking
That's how
about
I was. Yeah, that's how I was introduced to him, and I was like, oh, he's
Like,
okay.
he was like, fair use montage!
He's pretty
Because
cool
on
too. I like.
YouTube.
I like him too. I like him in Nostalgia Critic.
I also like Mike J, who does shameful sequels, and to an
Mm.
extent, when he's not being too upset, Film Brain can be funny as well. He does bad movies.
Yeah, I still love that Purge review. I just like that part with Film Brain.
I thought his cameo to just be random during to be the Purge, and the entire
Like, he
review.
does have something, he's good at slapstick comedy, like when he gets hit by the wall and then just goes back to waving by. He just gets, like, hit and then he's like,
I do think that Film Brain's funnier when he guest stars on other reviews because it's like he is like
yeah, I
he's
know.
like a funky every time he guest stars, something bad happens to him and whatnot, and that
Yeah.
seems kind of more humorous than him on his own, where he's kind of just another angry critic, only he's I don't know, he's British.
Mhm.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
this one he did with the Nostalgia Critic on Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance.
Oh, yeah, that was Mike.
That was Mikey J. That was Mike J, not Film Brain. The
Oh, I'm
Ghost
sorry.
Riders. The Ghost
There's
Riders.
two British ones.
Yeah, the British one.
There's
Was
200
Film Brain
viewers.
the one with the Purge?
Film Brain was the Purge.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was the
I
Purge.
thought so, because that was another one I also liked.
Yeah.
I didn't like the Purge mainly because
Like, I like the It review also. I like the It
No,
one.
just not the movie. I meant the review.
I was saying the review I didn't
Yeah,
like.
no, I
It
like
because the review just felt unnecessary, and like I said, the entire thing was basically just was just an excuse to have Pinky and the Brain guest star to get the voice actors of Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah,
Guest starring. I
I
felt
know.
we couldn't have worked that into another review. You just had to have it happening during the Purge.
I know, it's really
Maybe it was
random
an
because they're like,
afterthought.
I don't know if they thought of that idea beforehand or not. It's like,
Maybe it was
they
an
were going to that
afterthought.
convention and they're like, if we could somehow incorporate them in I like the Devil review.
Yeah. Although I did like the part from the Ghost Rider review where they're talking about how Heimdall is asking Ghost Rider to become the Avenger.
I actually missed that review.
That was
I kind of skipped that one because I thought, wait, didn't Film Brain already do this? And I know they do sometimes do the same things every now and then, but
I thought it was funny, and then they talked about, oh, this is all connected to the Marvel Universe, and then they kind of destroy that theory with talking about Stan Lee and Princess Brides too.
Yeah.
I
What's it
had
called?
heard that Doug apparently thought that Blackheart was made up for the movie, even though he actually exists in the comic books. And I'm thinking, wow, critical research failure much.
Wait, he really thought he was made
Any
for the
reviews?
really?
What?
Wait, he thought that Blackheart was made up for the movie?
I've heard that's what I did. Like, I didn't see the review myself. I read about what he said, and I read that he thought that Blackheart was made up for the movie because he said his name was lazy or whatever.
In what review? In what
This
movie?
Ghost Rider review.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I've seen it, but I wouldn't know.
I don't remember. I haven't seen that one in a while.
When you said Blackheart, I thought of Carapace. I thought of Darkheart.
No, I mean Darkheart.
Any movies you disagree with him on as Doug Walker? I know he doesn't like Dark Knight Rises. I have not seen Dark Knight
I
Rises.
disagree with him on the Daredevil review.
Daredevil isn't as bad as it's made out to be.
Yeah, like he basically, it felt like the whole review was negative. There was no positives at all.
I didn't like the skit that much because it was very over the top, and like when he showed up as the villain of the Target, found that to be a redundant parody because Colin Farrell was already over the top, so making an over the top parody and over the top.
I mean, it was just like he was over the top where everything else was like extremely dark.
I felt that was like a miss for him, but yeah, it's like
What's it called? I know. I told Colton his review of Cinderella, the new
it felt
one.
like
He didn't like it.
negative over negative over negative. It's like, could you try to show a little bit of like positives a little bit?
And also,
That's not what
there was
the
like a cliche about how he said over early 2000. He seems to think that all early 2000 movies were kind of the same, with only the exception being the X-Men. And I don't know. I don't really agree with that. It's like the characters are overly angsty. I mean, yeah, Spider-Man can be a little emotional at times, but I mean, he was still pretty beat, and he also had an excuse to be miserable because his life sucked, which is why I like Spider-Man 2 so much, because it was a pretty good balance of his life as a hero and his life as a civilian.
And Daredevil does have excuse because basically every woman he dates gets killed.
I think that there's only one thing I don't really agree on Daredevil. I think if there's anything wrong with Daredevil, I think it would be how all the characters were supposed to be more or less ordinary people, but they all moved like they had superpowers. Like Electro managed to jump like 5 feet into the air, which he was fighting.
Yeah. Good thing you haven't seen the spin-off movie.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I heard it was terrible though.
Yeah, in that one she does have superpowers.
Yeah, didn't the Nostalgia Critic also complain about, like, he made the joke about, like, there's no point of him, like, being blind if he's given super eyesight or something? I forgot what it was.
Well, that's the whole point. He's the blind warrior from Hell's Kitchen, but
it's like there's no point of taking something away if you're just gonna make it better.
Well,
He's like,
you can't not make him blind because that's the character. So they were kind of.
Yeah, that's basically the character. He's blind, but
you can't really see it anymore. It's like a radar. It's like echolocation or something like that.
It's kind of like, I would say it's kind of like Toph from The Last Airbender, where she puts her foot on the ground and she can feel the earth.
Right.
Like when he touches stuff, he can feel. With like vibrations, he can see stuff.
And it could be, and the characters did exploit it. Like during the fight against Bullseye exploited his powers among other things, and it's sort of like it was like his senses were kind of like thrown into overdrive or something like that.
Yeah, like
so he couldn't like totally see for sure. Granted, sometimes they did.
Yeah, he couldn't grab the stick because of the vibration, and he was seeing double.
Right.
Huh. What else? What else should we talk about?
I guess so how he got his powers is kind of odd.
Yeah.
He gets hit in the face, but and then bam, he has powers. I know that's not how it works out in the comics, but yeah.
And he was able to save Stan Lee so he can so he can live another day to write a comic.
Stan Lee. What's your favorite cameo from him?
I still say Big Hero 6. Have either of you seen Big Hero 6?
Yeah. Mine is still the one from Iron Man.
I forgot. How did he appear in Iron Man?
He's at like one of like Tony Stark's parties, and Tony Stark passes him. He goes, "You're looking good, Hef." And it turns around, it's like Stan Lee, and he's like surrounded with like 2 women.
My favorite cameo from him is Spider-Man 3, where he walks up to Peter and says, "I guess one man really can make a difference." And I liked how I kind of like that one because it's the first time we got to have a Stan Lee cameo that wasn't meant to be humorous. It was him actually speaking to one of his characters, and I thought that's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
Now the worst ones, there are a couple
right
more. Actually, like half the Marvel stuff I haven't seen, but the worst ones are the stuff like Amazing Spider-Man 2. And like Guardians, where he's just like there, and there's no point of him being there other than there being a cameo.
Yeah, but at least in Guardians, they just got him in there and got him out of the way.
Yeah, but there's like no point. It's like when people were freaking out about there won't be a Avengers end credit scene, but there's gonna be a mid credit scene. I'm like, oh no, next you're gonna tell us that there's no Stan Lee cameo. It's like that's not gonna change my opinion if there's not an end credit scene.
Although, according to Stan Lee, the Marvel movies make money because he appears in them. That's what he said.
That's not true.
But he believes it, so.
Maybe. You'll never know.
But, that's what Stan Lee's philosophy is. Yeah. So, like, is there any reviews in like the future you would like to see the Nostalgia Critic cover?
First Kid, I've been begging for him to review that movie. It's begging for it. It has Sinbad.
There's one like really obnoxious person on his page that keeps commenting for him to do a crossover review of with the Nostalgia Chick on like a Little Princess or whatever it's called.
What was the one I was? I would like to see him do
There was
one
one
on.
other that guy kept saying like he
I
should
would
do,
like to
and he,
see him do one on X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh boy.
Just
Yeah.
imagine.
oh yeah, he's also like, oh you, it's this really obnoxious person. He's like, oh you accept my bet even though he never replied to him. It's like you accept my bet by not saying anything, so you have to review the Rugrats movie or something.
But I would
And
like
I'm
to
like,
see him just
he never
cover
accepted that
X-Men
bet.
Origins
Just because he never
Wolverine.
replied doesn't mean he accepted it. It's like, if you don't say
X-Men
anything,
Origins
that
Wolverine
means you
would be
accept.
Right.
that'd be a pretty awesome film from the cover. And maybe
Rugrats
the Green
movie?
Lantern movie.
I think Green Lantern actually might be more. Green Lantern, I think, might have more material actually, because there's a lot more to make fun of. Like X-Men Origins at least has some emotion behind it, but Green Lantern was just—it's one of my least favorite movies ever because as far as comic book movies go, it
Oh,
has.
and also Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
I take Rise of the Silver Surfer any day over over Green Lantern. Like Green
Also,
Lantern
what's
is.
But he had to fight a purple cloud.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Green Lantern is a superhero who depends on special effects, and those are some of the worst special effects I've ever seen.
But in that one, he had to fight a brown cloud
Yeah.
that was voiced by the Kurgan.
what's it called? I also, how do you feel about him reviewing, like, since he came back, him reviewing, like, stuff that's come out this decade? He's already said he's going to review 50 Shades of Grey when it comes out on DVD.
Oh, what was
Seriously?
the other one?
Never review 50 Shades of
Because he says it's like, he pretty much thinks, like, to review those stuff before they even come out in theaters, since he knows that there'll be some...
I don't know. I think that's really starting to kill the word nostalgia in his name if he reviews
because
things
he
that.
pretty much... Wait, what were you going to say?
I feel like that just wrecks the whole nostalgia part of his name. I mean, I
Yeah.
know he says that if it's not out in theaters, it's technically nostalgia, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think 50 Shades of Grey is just.
It's just
I don't know.
bad.
It's too
Like
weak.
something like Man of Steel, I still understand since it is like a Superman movie, so Superman's classic. But what does 50 Shades of Grey have to do? Like Twilight's
Nothing.
not. It's like Twilight fanfic, but Twilight's not even nostalgic.
Since he hasn't, even,
I mean-
since he hasn't even reviewed any of the Twilight movie. If he reviewed like maybe the first Twilight film, I could see him doing 50 Shades of Grey as like a follow up on it. But I know he's like only had maybe like one or two tutorials on Twilight, and that's about it. And we just
Wait,
lost.
I have no idea how this hangout ends. If the person that starts the hangout ends the call, I bet you we all have to. But what's it called? He probably is coming back. What's it called? I forgot. He did review like Twilight, like the last Twilight in He did like a convention one, but I don't know if that counts because it wasn't like officially on his site. And I forgot what I was gonna say. Whatever. Do you have anything?
No, I'm kind of good now. I might have to actually leave and go back to editing my review.
Okay, I'll see if this hangout just ends. But what's it called? There's something I forgot what. Oh yeah, any review he does as a bum review shouldn't be a Nostalgia Critic. If it came out when he first started, it's not really like he only occasionally like I think before he retired, only 3 films he had done came out after 2004. Like he said, 2004 was his cutoff date, so or 2003 or something. So besides like The Room, Ponyo, and he did Cloverfield, that's like a quick thingy. I don't think there were that many. Like maybe like at the most 5 things out of like his 200 reviews or so.
Maybe.
Yeah. Wait.
Well, I'll see you later. Bye.
Okay, I'll see if this just ends. You want to sign off or anything?
No. I got nothing to say. Bye.
Good. Oh, Jason's back.
Is he?
Jason?
Are you there?
Jason?
Hello.
Okay, whatever. So you could say bye.
I'll wait here for a moment to see if he can log back in.
Do, 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 do. Someone should video that. That was like a pretty good remix. Someone should let's record that. We have to make like a GIF or GIF or however you pronounce it.
That's how it's pronounced, GIF. And he's got.
He left again.
Okay, to heck with it. Bye, Abby. I'll see
he
you
didn't
later.
like he didn't like our GIF or GIF talk.
Bye.
I think I said I don't know what I say. Do I say GIF? GIF is the peanut butter though. That I might say GIF. I say data, not data. I
Goodbye.
don't know. Whatever. Bye. Bye. Yeah. Jason, do you need to end the live hangout? It's still going on, I think. Jason. Jason.